breaking news, a judge in New York finding former President Donald Trump has committed fraud because his financial statements exaggerated his wealth and the value of his assets. It comes after a civil lawsuit was brought by New York's Attorney General. Now, the judge found that Trump's company deceived banks, insurers, and others by massively overvaluing his assets and exaggerating his net worth on paperwork used to make some deals.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the courtroom of public opinion, or as I like to call it, the theater where the script changes but the actors remain painfully the same. Today we're not just unraveling legal webs, we're dissecting the American dream, one indictment at a time. Hunter Biden and Donald Trump, two names that could either headline a blockbuster or a tragedy, depending on who's writing the script. So, fasten your seatbelts, put on your judge's robes, and for heaven's sake, leave your morals at the door. After all, in this world of legal chaos, political drama, and family feuds, the only thing more unreliable than justice is the illusion of innocence. Shall we? In today's episode, we're not merely scratching the surface, we're excavating the very foundations of American hypocrisy. Hunter Biden and Donald Trump, two men who've turned criminal charges into a family affair. We'll dissect the sordid details, the familial collateral damage, and the political earthquakes that could very well redraw the map for the 2024 US presidential elections. Trust us? Well, you shouldn't. But you'll certainly want to stick around for our forecasts, each one more jaw-dropping than the last, and our satirical jabs at this legal farce. After all, in this circus, the clowns are running the show. Hunter Biden's legal troubles aren't just a multi-layered cake of controversy, they're a 7-course meal of American excess and entitlement. At the base, federal tax evasion charges are the bread and butter of white-collar crime. Then we have the delectable courses of alleged money laundering and foreign business entanglements, each more sumptuous than the last. And for dessert, a cherry named Burisma, plucked straight from the orchards of Ukraine. The feds have been digging since 2018, like truffle pigs in a forest of corruption. What they've unearthed is a Pandora's box of questionable financial transactions and emails that could make even a saint wince. It's not just a Netflix crime drama, it's a masterclass in the art of legal limbo, with fewer charismatic anti-heroes and more lawyers in ill-fitting suits. Key points of criminal allegations. Indictment by Special Counsel David Weiss on felony charges for lying on a federal form about being drug-free when purchasing a Colt Cobra 38 SPL revolver in October 2018. A failed plea deal that would have allowed Hunter to plead guilty to misdemeanor tax offenses and avoid jail time. Ongoing GOP-led congressional investigations into the Biden family's shady business deals. Potential consequences on Joe Biden's 2024 presidential campaign. The legal woes could serve as ammunition for Joe Biden's political opponents, casting a shadow over his presidential campaign. The ongoing investigations and media coverage could divert public attention and resources away from Joe Biden's campaign efforts. If Hunter Biden is convicted, it could severely damage the public's perception of Joe Biden, potentially affecting voter turnout and campaign donations.
We begin tonight with breaking news. A federal grand jury in Delaware indicting Hunter Biden on 3 gun charges. The president's youngest son could face up to 25 years in prison if he's found guilty of the felony counts, all stemming from his purchase of a firearm at a time when he was using drugs. Special counsel David Weiss alleges Biden lied about his addiction on paperwork and illegally obtained a gun. Per the ATF, it is against the law for a user of certain controlled substances, including cocaine, to possess a firearm. Today's news comes less than 2 months after a plea agreement between Hunter Biden and federal prosecutors fell apart after the judge refused to sign off on it. We have a lot of new details to bring you tonight.
Donald Trump, the man who's turned the American dream into a late-night infomercial. Just when you thought the show was over, the curtain rises again. Justice Arthur Engoron of the New York State Court has found Trump and his quaint family business liable for fraud. Oh, the delicious irony. The man who built his empire on the illusion of wealth could see it crumble because he inflated it like a carnival balloon. Attorney General Letitia James accuses him of puffing up his assets by a mere $3.6 billion. Pocket change, really, if your pockets are as deep as the Mariana Trench. Mar-a-Lago, Trump Tower, golf courses, each a shiny bauble in a magician's trick. But remember, even Houdini couldn't escape death. Key points of criminal allegations. Fraud liability. Trump and his family business were found liable for fraud, accused of inflating assets and net worth. Asset inflation. Properties like Mar-a-Lago and Trump Tower were among the assets whose values were inflated. Potential consequences. This could lead to severe financial penalties and further tarnish Trump's already controversial reputation. Potential consequences on Donald Trump 2024 presidential campaign, credibility crisis. This latest development could severely undermine Trump's credibility, making a 2024 presidential run increasingly unlikely. GOP dilemma. The Republican Party may have to reconsider their support for Trump as their candidate for 2024. Financial strain. The potential financial penalties from this case could further strain Trump's campaign funds.
The indictment brings felony charges against Donald John Trump.
It's another historic moment in a series of historic moments. Former U.S. President Donald Trump indicted again. This, the fourth case against him, adding up to a combined 91 charges. The first indictment less than 5 months ago. Trump accused of falsifying business records linked to a payment to Stormy Daniels. Since then, the case involving classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago home, USA! USA! The January 6th insurrection case, and now accusations of trying to meddle with Georgia's election results specifically. In part stemming from this now infamous phone call with Georgia's Secretary of State.
Comparing Hunter Biden's and Donald Trump's legal troubles is like comparing a firecracker to a nuclear bomb. Both can burn you, but only one has the potential to obliterate the landscape. Hunter's tax evasion and business dealings are like a local news headline, serious but forgettable. Trump's charges, however, are a Pandora's box of legal nightmares, each more terrifying than the last, with implications that could shake the very foundations of democracy and the rule of law.
Crooked Joe Biden's only campaign strategy is indicting me. That's all they can do. Keep indicting him on nonsense. Going on extended vacations and sleep, sleep, sleep. That's what he wants to do. He wants to sleep and he wants to go to the beach and sleep. He thinks he looks good in a bathing suit. He doesn't. Crooked Joe Biden is totally controlled by China, Ukraine, and various other countries. They know everything about him, all of his misdeeds, and there are many. He's a corrupt person. He's a compromised president who is leading our country to hell. In the true sense, and I don't know if you know what this means, he is a Manchurian candidate. Trust me on that, it's not good.
For the Bidens, the fallout might be akin to a family squabble that spills into the public eye. Embarrassing but manageable, like airing your dirty laundry but finding out it's only socks. For the Trumps, a conviction could be the first domino in a chain reaction that brings down their empire, transforming Trump Tower into a monument of hubris and irony. Imagine Ivanka, Don Jr., and Eric pivoting to careers as social media influencers, hawking Trump the board game, a game of chance where everyone loses.
Folks, it wasn't that long ago we were losing jobs in this country. In fact, only 2 presidents in American history with fewer jobs the day they left office than when they started. One was President Hoover, and the other was Donald Hoover Trump. Seriously, only 2 presidents in American history. And look, you may remember my predecessor promised to be the greatest job president in history. Well, it didn't really work out that way. He lost 2 million jobs over the course of his presidency, 2 million. We've created 13.4 million new jobs.
The 2024 elections, the Grand Circus is back in town, and the ringmaster's chair might just be empty. If Trump is found guilty, which, let's be honest, would be poetic justice served on a golden platter, the Republicans will be like headless chickens in a barnyard, aimless and squawking for a new leader. Hunter Biden, His troubles are but a sideshow, a distraction, a mere juggling act compared to the high-wire act Trump has been performing.
When the last guy was here, you were shipping jobs to China. Now we're bringing jobs home from China. When the last guy was here, your pensions were at risk. We helped save millions of pensions with your help. When the last guy was here, he looked at the world from Park Avenue. I look at it from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I look at it from Claymont, Delaware. Not a joke.
For the Bidens, the road ahead is bumpy but navigable, like a country lane that's seen better days. While Hunter's legal issues could cast a long, ominous shadow over Joe Biden's presidency, they're unlikely to be the guillotine that severs his political life. However, they could be the stumbling blocks that trip up his legislative agenda and strain international relations, particularly with Ukraine and China. Conviction. Now, there's a word that could spell the end of the Trump brand, turning it from a name on gilded towers to a footnote in history books. Financial penalties could be the wrecking ball to his glass castle, and the stain on the Trump name? Oh, it would be indelible, like ink on a white shirt. The brand that once stood for opulence could soon stand for caution, a grim tale told to young, aspiring moguls. The legal battles involving Hunter Biden and Donald Trump are the jokers in the deck of the 2024 presidential elections. They could either galvanize or fracture their respective political bases, like a wedge driven into a log. For the undecided voters, these cases could be the tipping point, making the 2024 elections as unpredictable as a game of Russian roulette. So, there it is, my fellow Americans, the pièce de résistance of political theater. We've navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the Trump and Biden legal sagas, dissecting their sins with the precision of a surgeon and the delight of a sadist. We've read the tea leaves and made predictions so audacious, even Nostradamus would say, well, that's a bit much. If you've made it this far, you're not just a spectator, you're a glutton for the chows that is American politics. So, do me a favor, will you? Hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Smash that like button like you're hammering the final nail in the coffin of political decency, and spill your darkest thoughts in the comments as if you're whispering to your priest. Though, let's be honest, even God might not forgive some of these transgressions. Until we meet again, keep your gavels at the ready and your cynicism razor sharp. After all, in this game of power, you're either the butcher or the cattle. Choose wisely.